Some killing of former TV personality Hope Zinde. According to reports, Zinde's body was found in the boot of her SUV at her Pecanwood home at Hartbeespoort this afternoon. A police spokesperson says a large amount of drugs was found in the possession of her son. Her son has since been taken in for questioning.
Zinde worked for the SABC as a TV presenter, anchor, and also served in the SABC board. It appears that Zinde was murdered on Monday. Sources close to the police say a family friend tried unsuccessfully since Wednesday to contact her. He allegedly went to her house this morning to investigate, then alerted the police. When the police arrived at the house, the son is reported to have opened the front door. The police then noticed some blood marks leading from the bathroom to the garage. Zinde's body was then found in the boot of her SUV. Hope Zinde has been an executive producer and anchor for SABC Africa since 2000. She also anchored Perspective, a current affairs program, and co-anchored 180 Degrees, a new slot with SABC Africa. She started her journalism career in 1991 as a newsreader, was promoted to writer, producer, anchor of various current affairs programs, and has been involved in various freelance journalism projects. Ms. Zinde served as head of Hope Zinde Communications, which she established in 1998. She performed various special advisory functions through Hope Zinde Communications for a number of organizations and bodies, including the Limpopo Province, beverage giant Coca-Cola South Africa, the IEC, the World Bank, the Department of Transport, and the University of South Africa. She also served as non-executive director of Pan-African Capital Holdings. She was unmarried and apparently only had the one son.
Earlier, I spoke to SABC anchor Peter Ndoro, who worked with Hope Zinde for a very long time here at the SABC. He shared his fondest memories of his former co-anchor.
I worked with Hope for a really long time. It was probably over 3 years. We were the pioneers, as it were, for a channel called SABC Africa back in the early 2000s. And we used to present a morning program called 180 Degrees together. And so we spent a lot of time together every single day. She loved her work. She worked hard. And she was a person who was never afraid to speak her truth, and I think everybody appreciated her honesty around her. So I learned a lot, I've got to be honest with you, because I had come from a lot of entertainment television before that. Okay. So this was my first real news gig, and so just sitting next to her, who had been at the game for quite a while, I learned quite a bit from her, and yeah, she shared her knowledge and she shared her skills with me. Right. So it's really tragic to hear of her passing in this way. Very sad story, but I think many people will remember her.
All right. I mean, it's safe to say she was a media darling. What do you think the viewers will remember her for?
Yeah, she was, you know, I'll use the word feisty, but I'll use it in a nice way. Right. She never sort of pulled back from tough interviews. She could be quite, you know, she'd get into it. So she took her job as a journalist seriously, and I think a lot of people would say she wasn't afraid to spar with politicians and certain guests. But I think that was part of her strength. You know, she wanted the story told, and she got the story told. Right. But she was also fun as well, and I think that's probably why the program 180 Degrees suited us and suited her very well, because it was a mixture of everything. And she did a lot of important work, both here, abroad. She covered events like the Zimbabwean elections. Yeah, I think people will remember her for many reasons, different experiences that she had as a colleague, as a friend, perhaps also as a relative to her family. But as a colleague, I think I will always just remember her as a strong woman who I think led the way for many of the young female presenters that we're seeing here, because she spent 15 years at the SABC. Incredible. And she was one of the pioneers on programs like Good Morning South Africa at a time when there were just not that many young black women in the media doing important programming, and she was one of the first, and so she was a pioneer in many respects and led the way for many that followed after her.